As we're showing this special on terrorism, it's called Obsession, Radical Islam's War Against the West. And Walid was one of the key people being interviewed in Obsession.
And by the way, we will send people a copy of Obsession.
Anybody wants it, we'll send you a free copy.
Anybody wants a copy of Obsession, just
Walid
contact
was
Tom
conspiring
at
with Jews?
trentovision.tv.
Yep, Walid was conspiring with Jews. Yes, he was. But you played a significant role in me.
In our education.
Yes, and we show that movie. And I don't know if
everybody.
I was involved in the distribution of 30 million copies of that movie. So
you were the one.
Myself and some other folks.
He's the instigator right here.
I believe they wanted to do. They did a documentary called Relentless, and it didn't succeed. And I remember I met with Wayne Copping in South Africa, and I said, "What you need to do is basically show the connection between Nazism, Hajj Amin al-Husseini, and that will link to Americans, because when you talk to Americans about Islam, that enters into the realm of distant history. And Americans, excuse my French, they really are lousy in history. And you need to connect them to Nazism, because they could relate to that recent history. And that basically hit it big. So, you know, thank God for Obsession. Thank God for you for distributing the video. Thank God that you basically tasted the medicine of Islam and did something about it. I wish every Christian does something about it.
Yeah, no. And Mark's been making the point. Is there a camera on you, Mark, or no? Mark's been making the point for a long time, the connection between Nazism and Islam. Critically, we have to learn
and also the comparison with the Klan.
How about and also the women's issue in Islam, which is highly critical, and the sexual deprivation of the Islamic people under the whole gamut. It's not just one particular facet of this that puts these people into the next level. There's the Nazism, there's a women's issue, there's a sex issue, you know, and then there's the honor issue, and there's a whole plethora of issues that am I correct, Walid?
Yeah, you're correct. In fact, you know, not many Americans are aware that, you know, the yellow Star of David the Jews had to wear came, you know, a lot of it paralleled of what was under the Umar Covenant, Umar Declaration, in which Jews had to wear yellow patches on their shoulder. Jews had to walk in the narrow alleyways. Jews had to ride a donkey, never ride a horse. They could never be a judge in a Muslim court. They could never adopt a Muslim child. You know, much of this thing from the Umar Covenant or Umar Declaration, you know, transpired later on into Nazism. Nazism, in fact, used the Armenian genocide to learn how to pack Jews in trains. Of course, my grandfather's friend, Hajj Amin al-Husseini, was very much involved with Nazism. His photo is seen on the eve of the final solution. He wrote the Hungarian Prime Minister of Foreign Affairs to thwart the immigration of Jews to Israel. Tremendous player in Nazism. A Nazi war machine was composed of 8 different sections. 2 of them were Muslim, the Bosnian, the Khanzar division. 8 divisions. There was 2 Islamic divisions, and this part of history is rarely discussed.
Nobody knows this.
Well, and I got a quick question of going along those lines.
Is your mic? Can you get your mic on? Or
yeah,
maybe
my mic's
there
on.
You go.
Right. I get a question for you. When we were over in Israel, Tom, this is what I found interesting. It is such a key. It is such a key part of Islamic history. Yet, when we're over there, the Husseini, there was no pictures of him. It's almost like he's disappeared. But
the Mufti, the Grand
Mufti, it's like he's disappeared, and he's not on the walls.
We were in the Israel side. I don't know if he's disappeared in Gaza or the West Bank.
But what I'm saying is, it's almost like he's become an embarrassment nationally or publicly, but inside the culture, he's still revered.
And absolutely. In fact, you need to look at the Muslim Brotherhood websites and see how revered that man is.
Right.
He's all over the Muslim Brotherhood website. He is revered as a hero.
Right. Now we're talking about, folks, 25 minutes past 5 o'clock on Wednesday, May 29th. We have Islamic expert, former Muslim, now evangelical Christian Walid Shoebat, born in Bethlehem, grew up over there, giving us insight. We're talking about the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, the chief, the big poobah Muslim of Jerusalem, who conspired with, and we've shown it a million times on our video, had a bromance. You know what a bromance is?
That Christie and Obama thing?
Yeah, Christie and Obama. He had a bromance with Adolf Hitler, the Grand Mufti did. Yeah. And then they put together these killing forces and all of this.
The Arab Fuhrer, right.
This is great. Imam Abdullah, you got a question, or Damon?
No, actually, I have a question.
Damon has a question.
You're talking about Americans' poor sense of history, and the way to get their attention is equating things with Nazism. Do you think part of the Muslim game plan is to associate Zionism with Nazism, is to get the attention.
Oh, the reverse sort of.
You know, the reversal. I mean, because you see it all the time.
Yeah.
Equating Zionism and Nazism. Obviously it doesn't really make sense, but do you think the Muslim world believes it, or is it just a way to shock America into coming to the Islamic point of view?
I think the second is true, but I think equating Islamic revolution with Nazism is not just simply an equating. It is what we do basically is to show the actual history of the collaboration between Nazism with the Islamic movement. No one can find any collaboration between the Zionists and the Jews versus the Nazis. That's an impossibility.
Other than the protocols.
Right, so equating something in a far-fetched manner is not the same as equating historic background to other historic background. The histories do not collide between Islamism and Nazism. In fact, Hitler himself said that, how much he wished that they would not have the flabby religion of Christianity in Germany, that how much he adored Islam. It will be a much better religion for the Aryan race, in which they could excel Islam much further than the Arabs and the Muslims. So, he basically loved Islam and hated and abhorred Christianity. So this really debunks the myth that Muslims use all the time that the Nazis were Christian.